welcome to This Day. It is Friday, March 8th. I'm Michael Taylor. Thanks for joining us. Are you ready for the weekend? I know I am, but we just got to get through one more thing, showing you this version of This Day. So let's get right to it. We're going to be welcoming Dr. John Hovannisian from Harvard Eye Associates. He's going to be talking to us about cataract surgeries and the laser treatments they're using to help make that surgery even better and safer than ever before. And then we're going to be laser focused on sports with Cole Young in the Sports Corner. That's coming up as well. Hey, let's keep you informed. We've got a good one for you. You know what's coming, folks. Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, turn those clocks forward. We are going to spring forward. It is time. It is time. Daylight savings begins Sunday, March 10th at 2 a.m. So on Saturday night, clocks are usually set forward for about an hour. You know, that's what you want to do, just that 1 hour, and which means we lose an hour's sleep. Sorry about that, but we do move the clocks ahead. We get longer daylight hours in the spring, longer evenings with sunshine. So everybody enjoy the extra sunlight. That's going to be coming up. Don't forget that for this weekend. Let's take a look at our weather for the weekend while we're at it. We got the morning clouds as usual, but we're going to be partly cloudy for today and then partly cloudy for Saturday. It's going to be the warmest days of the week are going to be today and Saturday. Then we're going to have a little bit of a cool off, but no rain in the forecast. That's the good news. Just mid 60s, mid to high 60s, but no more rain for a while, which I'm happy to tell you. Let's take a look at our sunrise and our sunset. We've got a great picture for you. Look at those beautiful mountains. Cole, our Sports Corner guy, he's going to be on later, but he also went out to the Grand Tetons pretty recently, National Park out there in Jackson, Wyoming. Our sunrise this morning was 6:09. Our sunset tonight is going to be 5:53. If you'd like to send us a picture, like Cole did, anything on your vacations, your pets, places around town, sunrise, sunset shots, whatever it might be, send them to us. Email at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. And make sure you send us your name. We knew Cole's name already, but make sure you give us your name, where you took the photo, and we will put it on our sunrise sunset segment. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking to Harvard Eye Associates about cataract surgeries. Stay with us.
Welcome to Harvard Eye Associates. We're focused on your eye care at all three of our Orange County locations.
Our new location in Laguna Hills, Orange, and San Clemente.
Each facility features the latest in advanced technology and diagnostic equipment.
And a trusted collection of doctors that care about your vision and your quality of life.
We deliver what matters to you and your family.
Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today.
Hi, I'm Jack.
And I'm Christine, and we're the owners of the Jewelry Box Estate Buyers. Whether you're looking to liquidate an estate or sell your jewelry, there's one thing you need above all else.
And that's trust. Trust that the people who are buying your treasures are treating you fairly. And if your heirlooms need repair or appraisal, our master jeweler and graduate gemologists are here to help.
At the Jewelry Box Estate Buyers, it's about trust.
We are joined now by Dr. John Hovannisian from Harvard Eye Associates. Welcome back to the program.
Great to see you, Michael. Hope all is well with you.
Great to see you too, but we're going to talk about what happens when people start having a little bit of trouble seeing, and that's cataracts, right?
Yep, that's right.
Give me the basics of what cataracts is. What happens within the eye and the anatomy of the eye that causes that foggy, loss of color, loss of good vision?
Yeah, it is such a common problem, and it is one of the biggest problems that happens globally, and sadly in other countries it's a major cause of blindness for people. Here in the U.S., we have great surgery widely available, covered by insurance, and so it's really become a wonderful thing. And the technology keeps getting better and better. So what cataract is in the front part of the eye. The eye obviously has a very complex anatomy of different parts that all have different roles. But if you look, kind of in a simplified view of it, the lens of the eye is where cataract happens, and that's toward the front of the eye. It's behind the cornea. Light rays focus. We have a picture that shows how they do, and that lens is that oval structure that's just kind of in the left side of the picture where you see light rays coming into focus. And what happens is it becomes cloudy. And if you look at a lens itself, it becomes yellowish in color, and it becomes slightly opaque. And that opaqueness grows with time. And so the way that translates into the way we see is also a gradual process. It causes scatter of light that comes into the eye. So instead of light coming nicely focused together, like it does when we're 22 years old.
Oh, those are the days.
Right, when we were perfect. Every injury is a minor injury when you're 22, and vision is no problem when you're 22. So it causes those light rays not to be focused well. So the way it affects our vision is that there's a gradual sort of loss of contrast, and this picture shows it nicely, the color shift that we see, but also in the right-hand sort of after picture with cataract developing, we see a loss of clarity. And then here you see even more, as cataract progresses further, it's almost like there's a veil that we're looking through.
Right, it's kind of a fog going on, right?
Yeah,
or
that's right.
Some sort of opaque thing going on. Is it just a matter of where? Is it too much light coming through? Why does the fog happen in the first place? Do we understand the origin of it?
You know, it's complicated. It has to do with changes in the proteins within the lens itself. And it's a lot of factors. It's like, you know, why did I lose my hair? Why do we have a little bit of graying of our hair as we get older? You know, it's hard to address all of these. And although there are some medical treatments that we're trying to avoid surgery in cataract, none of them have really proven effective yet because it is such a complicated problem.
Okay, so we have a laser cataract surgery we want to talk about. What are some of the steps in first of all, diagnosing, hey, you're a candidate for this, and what goes into doing this surgery?
Yeah, so cataract surgery is the solution once we've tried with glasses to solve the problem with vision, and glasses are no longer working. And very often the eye doctor who does those glasses every year says, look, I just can't do better for you. I don't think glasses are the solution. It's time to think about surgery. And if our patient is having problems seeing well and it's starting to affect his or her lifestyle, that's when we do cataract surgery. And that surgery involves replacing the lens inside the eye with an artificial lens implant that never gets old, never gets cloudy, never needs replacement.
It's not like those headlights in some cars that get foggy. This is going to stay clear for the rest of my life.
This is going to get, it's exactly right. It's going to stay clear throughout the rest of their life. And so we have some different techniques. As the technology has advanced, it's now gone from being all done by hand to potentially being done with a laser. And a lot of our patients want that advanced technology, and there is some advantage to it. I don't want to overstate it because cataract surgery by traditional treatment methods is still very successful and still really good. We do thousands of them that way. But about 80% of our patients want the advances that come with laser cataract surgery.
So what does a laser take the place of, and how is it better?
Great question. So there's really three ways that it helps us to give patients better surgery. First is that when we do cataract surgery with a laser, before we touch the eye, we use the laser to soften the lens inside. That means a little bit less trauma, a little bit less fluid, a little bit less manipulation of the tissues inside the eye, and therefore a little bit less risk of damage to some of the collateral tissues around it. So that makes it just a little bit safer. It's not to say that it's not safe without a laser, but it is a little safer with. The second thing that it does is it makes the openings, and you can see those openings in the top two pictures here, in the front capsule of the lens. And normally we would make an opening there by hand, and we do it well and we do it precisely, but no human hand can do it with the perfection that a laser can do it. And that translates to a little bit easier fine-tuning, a little better predictability about the way the eye will focus after surgery. So the second benefit is that we can fine-tune the vision a little bit better. And then the last thing that the laser does is that it's also able to help us correct astigmatism. About 70% of us have this thing called astigmatism. That
I have one.
It's a super common thing, and most people don't really understand what it means. What it means is that the front window of the eye, the cornea, rather than being perfectly round in its shape, has a little bit of ovalness to its curvature. Another way to think about that is, think about a basketball, the shape, versus a football, right? If you just take one little section of the surface of a basketball, it's perfectly uniformly curved all the way around. A football, it's got kind of a funny shape. It's different bends, different in different directions because of just the shape of that structure. When the eye is like the football instead of the basketball, that's astigmatism. So we can correct that, help to correct that when we use the laser to give more precise vision, less need for glasses after surgery. And for about 70% of our patients, it's a very appropriate choice for that reason as well.
Okay, now when you put the new lens in there, is it a one lens, one size fits all, or do we have choices in terms of the quality or what it's going to do? I'm wearing bifocals, for instance. I mean, tell me about that part.
So it's a great question, and it's one of the most exciting areas of advances in our science is a proliferation of new technology lens implants, and we have a whole variety of them, and they can work like a bifocal or a trifocal or a progressive lens. They don't require you to tilt your head to see. It's just kind of focused everywhere, which is really neat because it's hard to use a progressive lens if you're working on a computer, right? Hard to tilt your head back and your neck gets sore. With these implants, you don't have to do that. There are a bunch of different technologies. Not everybody is a candidate for every technology. So one of the most important things we do for patients is help them understand what might be a good fit for them, because it's impossible, despite all the reading you do on the web, to really pick your own implant, because you can never learn everything that we've learned in treating thousands of patients. It's worth saying that there is cost in many of these choices, whether it's an advanced lens implant or choosing to have laser cataract surgery. It's really important to us that our patients understand that we're not trying to push any particular agenda or trying to sell them anything. We're just trying to help them choose, because when it comes time for cataract surgery, the lens implant that we put in your eye, the surgery we do, will affect their vision for the rest of their lives.
Right, and that's a lifestyle choice too, right? If I'm active, I'm maybe a little bit younger, and I want this for the next 30 years. and I'm reading a lot, and I'm doing those things. I'm going to make different choices than if let's say I'm getting 85 years old or 90, I'm getting this surgery at kind of like towards the end of my life.
70 is the new 50.
There we go.
And so folks live a long time and an active time, particularly here in Laguna Woods Village. And so, if you know that, hey, this is going to be the way I see the rest of my life, it becomes an important choice. And it's obviously, a financial choice as well as a personal one. But we just want folks to understand so that they can make those choices well. So
insurance is likely to cover some of these things, but not every choice that you're making.
The good news is they cover the biggest cost when we do surgery, which is, the operating room. And I've got to use $1 million operating room and a team of nurses in there and technicians and a whole staff who's there to help us. That part is covered by insurance regardless of what you select. And so if you choose a basic lens, which is a great choice also, and you choose not to have laser cataract surgery, it should be a fully covered procedure. But for about 80% of our patients, they want something beyond that because they understand that it's going to offer them better vision forever.
So I've done it, I've got the surgery. What are some of the risks I should know about, and what's the recovery time for my surgery? Am I wearing special glasses for a week or two?
Great question. Any surgery has some risk. Minor things or problems that are just frustrating but not blinding happen about 1 in 100 times. Things like delayed healing, needing additional surgery, having some type of issue that maybe we can fix, maybe we can't always fix. But it's still rare, 1 in 100. And then the real scary things like retinal detachment or infection, those bad things happen about 1 in 1,000 times. The good news is that the recovery, most people do very well, and the recovery is easy. You can drive the next day, you can read, you can shower, you can use a computer. We'll tell people to kind of lay off of sports or exercise more active than walking for about 1 week. Don't go in a hot tub or a swimming pool for maybe 2 weeks. But apart from that, do what you like doing. Enjoy life. That's really what it's all about. So.
All right. Dr. John Hovannisian from Harvard Eye Associates. If you guys are thinking about cataract surgery, he's the one to talk to. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
At Harvard Eye Associates, we are committed to your vision care and quality of life.
It's a commitment we don't take lightly.
Our trusted team of doctors provides specialized eye care using state-of-the-art technology.
We deliver what matters to you.
And your family.
Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today.
Hey, beach walkers, grandkid chasers, stair climbers, dance lovers, weekend warriors and yogis. Your life demands activity, and joint pain shouldn't hold you back. Get personalized joint care that's as unique as you, with high satisfaction rates to prove it. At Memorial Care, your joint replacement patient navigator will be by your side, helping you safely return to more. Like another beach, extra hug, and one more song. More from life is calling with Memorial Care.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and this week, most of the news has been revolving around one topic, and that topic is breaking records. If you remember, about a week or so ago, I extensively covered Caitlin Clark, the University of Iowa historic point guard. On February 16th, she became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I women's basketball history after draining a 33-foot three-pointer to break Kelsey Plum's record of 3,527 points. I went into detail about Clark's record and how she got to this point, but if you remember, at the very end of the segment, I mentioned that she wasn't done setting records just yet. After that Iowa victory 2 weeks ago, Clark had the opportunity to break Pistol Pete Maravich's mark of 3,667 points for most career points in Division I history for men and women. And, spoiler alert, she did just that. The Iowa point guard entered her final collegiate regular season game against Ohio State this past Sunday, needing just 18 points to pass Maravich. She scored 11 straight Iowa points in a second quarter stretch and then hit 2 free throws just before halftime to break the record. Not only did she break the record, but Iowa won a crucial matchup as they defeated number 2 Ohio State to secure the number 2 seed in the upcoming Big Ten tournament with a 15-3 conference record. Ohio State still remains the number 1 seed after falling to 16-2. While her all-time scoring record is one of, if not the greatest achievement across all of basketball, this isn't the only record that Clark has set. Clark holds various school, Big Ten, and Division I scoring records for three-point shooting, made field goals, and more. She's closing in on the single-season scoring average record with 33.6 points per game, which was set in 1989 by Mississippi Valley State's Patricia Hoskin, and the career scoring average with 28.4 points per game by Hoskins from 1986 to 1989. Clark is averaging 28.3 points per game over her career. The Iowa native is also the first to score 3,000 points with 1,000 assists. She remains 6th in all-time assists with a chance to move up after adding to her 1,049 total. Clark's 17 career triple-doubles trail only Sabrina Ionescu with 26 and are 5 more than the men's leader Kyle Collinsworth, who had 12 at BYU. Out of their 30 games this season, there was only 1 game where Clark didn't lead the team in points, but she led the team in assists in every single game this regular season. Clark will go down as one of, if not the greatest college basketball player of all time, and she's not done yet. Iowa will play Penn State in the second round of the Big Ten tournament today at 3:30 p.m., and then Iowa will look to make another run at a national championship in this year's March Madness tournament. Switching over to men's basketball, 2 more records were set in the NBA this past week. The NBA's all-time leading scorer, LeBron James, just hit a major landmark in the NBA that has never been done before when he reached 40,000 career points last weekend. In his 21st season in the NBA, he's still averaging about 25 points per game. Counting both playoff and regular season points, James already eclipsed 40,000 points because he had 48,014 entering Saturday. There isn't much more to say about LeBron James that hasn't already been said. He's a 4-time NBA champion, 4-time MVP, the all-time leading scorer, 20-time All-Star, etc., etc., etc. But this record is more wild than any of his previous accomplishments, and I'll explain how. No other active player has even 30,000 career points. Kevin Durant is closest with 28,342, which makes him the league's number 9 all-time leading scorer. But Durant, if he keeps up his game average, would have to play basically every single game until the end of the 2028 season to reach the 40,000 mark, which means Durant would need to play every single game until he's 40 years old. James has also played the second most regular season and most playoff minutes in league history. He's the only NBA player in history with at least 10,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists. This one isn't necessarily related to points, but still made me stop in my tracks for a second. LeBron James has played against 35% of all NBA players in history. It truly seems that it'll be a very long time for someone to surpass all the landmarks set by James, if at all. I hate to end the praise on a negative comment, but it's worth noting that the Lakers did still lose that game to the Nuggets, where James set the record. Speaking of losses and the NBA, and continuing on the theme of breaking records, the Boston Celtics did something that has never been done in NBA history earlier this week. The Celtics posted their third largest winning margin in franchise history after beating the Golden State Warriors with a whopping 140-88 victory on Sunday. Boston is now the only team in NBA history to win by 50 points or more 3 times in one season. They did this to cap off a franchise-best 11-game win streak, and they led by a franchise record 44 points at halftime and then pushed it to 51 in the third quarter. The Celtics are beating teams by an average of 22 points over their past 11 games, the best point differential over a win streak of at least 10 games in a single season in NBA history. If it wasn't clear by all those jaw-dropping stats, the Celtics are absolutely dominant this season, and it appears it's their championship to lose. Another team from the U.S. has been dominant lately, and that's the U.S. women's national team in this year's CONCACAF Gold Cup. The U.S. started the group stage with a match against the Dominican Republic. 18-year-old Olivia Moultrie scored twice in her first national team start, and the United States defeated the Dominican Republic 5-0 to start the cup off strong. Then last Friday night in a matchup against Argentina, Jaden Shaw scored a pair of goals and the United States went up 3-0 within the first 20 minutes before going on to defeat Argentina 4-0. This means in the first 2 matches, the US had outscored their opponents 9-0. With 4 teams per group, each team had to play 3 matches. So, sitting at 2-0, the US was set to square off with rival Mexico. Mexico beat the United States for just the second time ever with a 2-0 victory Monday night. The U.S. entered the game with a 41-1 record against Mexico, with its only previous loss coming during the Women's World Cup qualifying in 2010. Even with the heartbreaking loss, the U.S. advanced past the group stage and was set to square off with Colombia in the quarterfinals. First half goals from Lindsey Horan, Jenna Neiswanger, and Jaden Shaw gave the U.S. a comfortable lead at halftime, and the U.S. then shut Colombia down in the second half, coming out victorious with a 3-0 win. This victory set up a semifinal match with Canada on Wednesday night at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. If you don't remember what the weather was like on Wednesday, it rained pretty hard all throughout the afternoon and the night, so the U.S. team had to battle through some pretty tough field conditions. After 120 minutes of regulation and extra time ended, the score sat at a 2-2 draw, meaning the match was headed to penalty kicks. Behind goalkeeper Alyssa Naher's 3 big saves in the shootout and her own penalty kick goal, Team USA defeated Canada 3-1 in a penalty kick shootout and earned their spot in the championship match with Brazil. The 2024 CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup final against Brazil in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium will be this Sunday, March 10th at 5:15 p.m. To end the show, I had to throw in a few major NFL stories. First, I've been saying it for a few weeks now, but it is officially official. The Denver Broncos are moving on from Russell Wilson after just 2 seasons. Wilson played 30 games under center for the Broncos, leading them to just an 11-19 record, completing 63% of his passes for 6,594 yards and throwing 42 touchdowns with 19 interceptions. Denver boasted one of the worst offenses overall with Wilson, scoring just 18 points per game, which was 26th in the league, and totaling just 311 yards per game, which was 27th in the league since 2022. Sticking with today's theme of breaking records, the Broncos will take on an $85 million total in dead salary cap over the next 2 years by releasing Wilson, which will be the largest dead cap hit in NFL history. To simplify, this means the Broncos are willing to pay $85 million to have Wilson not be on the Broncos. This makes it very difficult for them to bring in free agents since they can't really afford big contracts. The trade and signing of Russell Wilson by the Broncos will arguably go down as one of, if not the worst experiment in NFL history. On the same topic of contracts and free agents, Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans made it official earlier this week that he will remain with Tampa Bay. Evans, which is Tampa Bay's career receiving leader, has agreed to a 2-year, $52 million contract to remain with the team that drafted him 7th overall back in 2014. Not to sound like a broken record, but continuing on the theme of other kind of broken records, but Evans is on pace to break some of his own. Evans is the only player in NFL history to begin a career with 10 consecutive seasons with at least 1,000 yards receiving, and like I mentioned, he's Tampa Bay's career leader in receptions with 762, in yards with 11,680, and touchdowns with an astounding 94. Tampa Bay hopes that this move will entice quarterback Baker Mayfield to remain with Tampa Bay for the future as well. With all of that said and all of those records set, I want to thank you for joining me on the 99th episode of Sports Corner. Be sure to tune in to the 100th episode next week. I'm still not exactly sure what special thing I'll do, but it'll be a fun episode nonetheless. Be sure to come right back next week for more sports news and updates. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend.
The Hogue Classic is returning March 15th through the 19th. Defending champ Retief Goosen and a Hall of Fame roster of PGA Tour legends descend on Newport Beach Country Club to take top prize from the $2 million purse. Join us for the fun, the sun, and the legends. For tickets, visit HogueClassic.com. See you at the beach.
Do you suffer from low back pain? Hogue Orthopedic Institute is the #1 provider of orthopedic and spine care in Orange County. Our Back to You program is a unique, non-operative, evidence-based approach to treating low back pain. Our spine strengthening program combines physical therapy with education on pain and nutrition. Let Hogue Orthopedic Institute's Back to You program get you back to doing what you love. For more information, visit hoiexperts.com/spine or call 855-999-4641 to find a doctor.
As we head out, we want to talk about the Friday and Saturday movies, and there's some great ones actually this time around. Chocolat with Johnny Depp, brought to us by Pacific Financial Planners. That's going to be on at 2 p.m. with subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. It's a French woman and her young daughter open up a chocolate shop in a small remote village that shakes up the rigid morality of the community. And then on Saturday, another, just a classic movie. It is Schindler's List with Liam Neeson, and that's going to be brought to us by RadNet. It's going to be on 2 p.m. with subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. And just a note here, the 2 p.m. showing is going to cut into our replay of ThisDay, which will start now at 5:15 because of the length of that movie. We thought, well, should we just cut it off so people can have ThisDay at 5 p.m., but that was a resoundingly bad idea. So we're going to let it play all the way out, and ThisDay will be starting at 5:15 on Saturday. That is the story of the historical drama directed by Steven Spielberg. The film follows Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved more than 1,000 mostly Polish Jewish refugees from the Holocaust by employing them at his factories during World War II. That's going to be on again at 2 p.m. again with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. Let's take a quick check on the weather before we head out, and we got a great weekend for you. No rain. That's the good news. Okay, no rain. We're going to have partly cloudy skies for Friday and Saturday and Sunday and all that fun stuff. But look at that. We have no rain in the forecast. That's the good news. Highs are going to be in the 60s. Today's going to really be the warmest day of the week, and then we start to cool off, but really mid-60s. Great temperatures as spring approaches next weekend. Spring is already here, folks. Can you believe it? We just got through Christmas. Tomorrow on our program, we want to make sure you get to see The Video Club. It's they're going to have a new movie coming out, and we want to tell you that, and we're going to have a preview of that when we have them on the show on there. And also, Senior Travel Adventures, my conversation with about a new show that's going to be coming right here at Village Television. So stay tuned for those. That's going to do it for this edition of ThisDay. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha-Na-Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village Television. Grease for Peace.